everybody. How y'all doing? We'll give everyone a few minutes to roll on. And I already saw in the chat that we have two people from Rhode Island, the tiniest state. We've got two people represented here. I think that's pretty darn good. Chime in the chat while we're waiting here. Let everyone know where you're from. Get your ukes tuned up. You know, the important things in the world. Playing an in-tune uke. And I think while we're waiting for everyone to roll on in for a couple minutes, I'll just play a little tune for you. When whippoorwill call, and evening is nigh, we'll hurry to my blue heaven. Step to the right, a little white light will lead you to my blue heaven. You see her smiling face, well, a fireplace, cozy room, a little love nest that nestles where those roses bloom. Just Molly and me, when the baby makes three. Yes, indeed, we're so happy in my blue heaven. You see a smiling face, a fireplace, a cozy room, a little love nest that nestles where those roses bloom. Just Molly and me, baby makes three. Yes, indeed, we're so happy in now we're so happy in well, we're happy in my blue heaven. Rachel, you're never free from whistling when you're here on my channel. That's just not how it goes. Whistling is what we do here. Welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. Thank you for coming and hanging out with me here on this cold Saturday night. At least is where I am in London. And I know a lot of other places around the world. We're waiting for maybe a little bit of snowfall tonight. I hope there's some folks here maybe that are newcomers that just got their uke and are hanging out with us for the first time. And for everyone else that is here, let's pretend that we're beginners today. That's our plan, is to go back to the very basics. One thing that happens when we learn online, which is an amazing thing, I say as I teach online, is that sometimes we forget about technique and how important it is. And also we don't have a teacher there to sit there and correct us. And the issue with uke, specifically more than any other instrument, is that one of the reasons we love this thing is because it is so forgiving, and it is so darn easy to play. We take that for granted sometimes. And the thing is, when you start playing, you're going to get a decent sound out of it. You're going to be able to strum your first 5, 6 chords, and it's going to work. Whether you use good technique, bad technique, you play it behind your head, it doesn't matter. You're going to make it work because this instrument's easy to play physically. But these issues really start to hit us when we get more to that intermediate stage. We want to move on up the neck, maybe get some of those bar chords going up here. And we want to get some of those fancier chord voicings. We want to play faster. And if you feel like things are holding you back there, that's what we're really going to talk about tonight is going over how to correct and keep an eye out for common technique issues that are going to help you play better because they're going to help you be more mobile on the instrument. If you ever feel like you're fighting your uke, you should put it down for a moment and take a step back and figure out what's going on. We should never be fighting an instrument. The thing is, an instrument puts us in a very odd positions that we're never like in our life. I feel like I'm a T-Rex sometimes when I'm playing this. And we need to stop doing that and find out how we can set our bodies up and our instruments up to allow ourselves to play more easily. And as I said, this is something that's a lot easier to do when you have a teacher in front of you all the time correcting your mistakes. So how do we self-correct these things at home so we can worry less about it and more about playing music? So the first thing we need to do is establish what we're talking about when we talk about technique. Technique is kind of a dirty word in music, right? There's not really a right or wrong way to do a lot of things on uke. And again, uke is really unique in that we have a massive different sizes of these things to play with. The way that I play a tenor uke is not exactly the same as I play this soprano uke because it's a bigger instrument. Of course, I can't hold it exactly the same way that I hold it. So we don't want to think about technique as a set of rules because that's not what it is. It's a set of principles that we need to look out for. And what is the purpose of technique? Good technique is setting us up so that we can move our body as efficiently and pain-free as possible while we're playing the instrument. So we stop fighting the instrument and start letting the instrument work with us, because that is when we get freedom to move up and down the neck and to play all these fun things. So the first thing we need to do is talk about holding the uke. And I've already mentioned that it's going to be different for everyone. And you need to keep that in mind with everything that we're talking about. These aren't rules. I'm not saying you have to do it this way. I'm giving you things to look out for while you're playing. No matter how you hold the uke. You all know that I always handhold my soprano uke, just like this. It's my baby that I carry around the house. I love doing this. I don't think that most people should handhold their instrument. All of our bodies are different. This is not comfortable for some people. If I was playing a baritone or a tenor and I was out like this, it would be tough. I might put it down in my lap like this and angle it up. So what we want to focus on are really the wrists are our most important things. No matter how you hold your instrument, whether you use a strap, whether you handhold, it doesn't matter. The main thing that we're looking for as far as our hands is that our wrists are loose and flexible. So what do I mean by that? Let's look at the left hand first. So I'm going to pick up my instrument and I'm going to put it down like this because I see a lot of people playing like this. George Formby, I'm looking at you, but we're not George Formby. We're up like this. Don't always look at professionals for good technique. What works for them, it may not work for you. When I put my left hand on here, a lot of us tend to put our wrist forwards like this. And this is not helping our hands out. What we want is this position here, not a straight wrist, but no matter how you're holding your instrument, we want it to be loose, relaxed, and flexible because we need to move it as we go up and down the neck. We need this mobility right here. This is what's important. So if you practice in front of a mirror or in front of your camera, we're all sitting on some type of digital device watching this. You have a camera that you can watch yourself practice. You get a different perspective of your playing. If your uke's too far down, too flat like this, it's going to force your wrist to go like this. And this is putting our hands in a very stressful position, but not even that. It also means that we're going to get stuck on the fingerboard and not be able to move as freely because we're fighting holding the neck. So you want to put the neck of your instrument up a little bit. And again, it always depends. Your instrument, your body, your hands, where it needs to be, but 30, 35-degree angle-ish. Even if you're holding it down in your lap like this, if you have a tenor or a baritone, you're doing that, the principles are exactly the same. But you need to find that perfect way that when you're sitting here, just hanging out, you just mute your strings like this, that your wrist can be in this nice, relaxed, mobile, flexible position, because then it is allowing you to support your fingers. All right. So that's the first thing we want to look for. The other thing is when we're playing and we're talking about wrist position, it's not really the wrist that's doing the work. You need to remember that it's not our hands doing this. It's our whole body that's working when we're doing this. So when we want to move the wrist on here, if you feel like your wrist is too far forward, it's not a matter of pushing the wrist back, because then we end up with this awkward position right here. What I actually want to do is just drop my arm back a little bit. If I turn all the way to the side, you can see that I'm just in a very relaxed sort of position right here. This is just my natural arm hanging at my side. I'm just letting my arm up like this. And this is what we want to go for. We want to go for what's your natural position when you're playing the instrument. What's relaxed to you? And that's the hardest part for a lot of us. So what we want to do now is just take a moment and think about relaxing. Put your uke down and put your arms at your sides like this and shake it out. And take a deep breath and relax a little bit. And hold on to this feeling, because as soon as we pick up the instrument, this feeling goes away most of the time because we're thinking about a million other things. I want you to really note your shoulders right now. We tend to carry a lot of tension in our shoulders while we're playing an instrument. As soon as we pick it up, especially if you're hand holding, you'll see a lot of people that go like this, or if you're playing like this over top, and we go like this. Keep those shoulders nice and relaxed and back. And the big thing is relaxation here. Relax your arms and find a way that works for you. Everybody, very different. You may need your uke down here. You may need it up here a little bit to work for you. You may need it down here. What works for you to set up your wrist in this way that we're flexible, we're relaxed, and the arm is just gently hanging at the side like this? How do we get there? Take some time to actually find that position for yourself. This can be the first 5 minutes of your practice every day, because the goal is to make this a habit so you never think about it again. But if you don't think about it now, you're going to be fighting your instrument in the future, even if you're not already. And that's the thing, as we progress, we find out that the fundamental things that we didn't worry about as a beginner start to really get in the way, and they're a heck of a lot harder to go back and correct. And I wouldn't even be playing the instrument now. I'm just holding the instrument, finding that position. Does everyone find that position? Chime on in the comments. Are you finding a nice relaxed wrist? Are you relaxing your shoulders while you play? Are we just letting the notes come out? We're going to play some chords and a whole song in a few minutes when we get past all of this. So what I want to do is we're going to take a little exercise of, we're going to take our uke. Well, if you're using a strap, you can just leave it strapped on while you do this. We're going to take our arms, we're going to put them down on our sides, and we're going to bring our uke back up, and we're going to just find that position. Take about 20 seconds to find that relaxed position with our instrument. Where is that natural position for you? Is that wrist able to move? We'll talk about the thumb in just a second. Let's release it again. Just shake everything out. Be nice and relaxed. And find that position again. It's just like finding a new chord. It's about building new muscle memory. This is just with our whole body, though, not with our fingers. Where's that relaxed position? I'm here. All right, so let's talk about our thumb. We talk a lot about the thumb and where should it be. We don't want it over top like this. And why don't we want it over top like this? Jimi Hendrix played like this, so it must be okay, right? I'm not Jimi Hendrix. Neither are you. If you're Jimi Hendrix, you can play however the heck you want. But when you're doing this, your thumb being over here, put your wrist like this, which is not supporting your fingers. So if we're wrapped around like this, our fingers are forced to do way more work if we're wrapped around. So your thumb wants to be on the back of the neck here, and it's going to be different for every single person. Your thumb, there's not a perfect place that you need to have your thumb. The big thing is you don't want to feel like you're gripping down like this. Your thumb is just hanging out on the back of the neck as I go up and down the neck. My thumb will come with me. It'll pivot a little bit if I need to do some different chord voicings here, but it's not gripping down like this. So then comes our question. If our thumb and our fingers aren't gripping, how are we actually holding down the strings? Because watch me play. Here's my thumb. My thumb's not on the back of it. Do I need my thumb? I don't need my thumb. I need it there for stability. But what's actually holding down the strings itself are just my fingers. And remember, to get the proper wrist position, we kind of let that arm relax. Uke strings need about 4 pounds of pressure to hold down. I guarantee that everyone's arm here weighs more than 4 pounds. So if you just relax your arm and let that uke pull ever so lightly into you with the left hand, you don't need the thumb. We, of course, need the thumb, again, for stability, just as a guide on the back of the neck. But what's actually holding this down is just the same thing if you're a cellist or an upright bass player that you do when you play. To get these pounds of pressure down, we're just relaxing the arm, letting the bigger muscles in our body do the work, as opposed to all of our tendons, our fragile little tendons in our fingers. That's how you get tired. If your hands get tired, it's because you're playing too much with your fingers. You're probably wrapping your thumb around. You're grabbing like this. Relax your arm. Pull the uke back the tiniest bit into you. And you'll find that you don't even need the thumb on the back of the neck, especially when you're down here. And again, it's about finding this position for you with your hands, your body, your uke. It's not going to look like me, which is why looking at videos online is not going to tell you the answer to this question of how do we play easily, effortlessly. It takes time talking to yourself and figuring out what you need to do. Practice in front of a mirror. Turn to the side and look at what your wrist is doing while you're playing. While you just strum maybe a C and a G seventh chord, something really basic that you don't have to think about. What's your wrist doing when you do that? Is it staying relaxed? As I do these other voicings, my wrist has to change, but it's still relaxed. It's still mobile the whole time. Spend a little bit of your practice time setting up that left hand, putting your uke back down, picking it up, finding that relaxed position, making sure that your thumb is not death gripping the neck the entire time. So how about the right arm? We need this hand too, don't we? Our strumming hand. So you see, for me, it hugs it into the body. I just saw a question in the comment, Paul, for bar chords. Absolutely. And in fact, for bar chords, the less you use the thumb, the better off you are. We don't need to squeeze down harder. We need proper placement of the finger on the fret, and we need our arm weight. Your bar chords are there for you. This is going to make bar chords easier. It's one of the easiest things you can do is get that. And I'll link after this replay. I have a whole video on conquering bar chords and the technique to get there using this arm weight. That's going to make them a lot easier for you. So when we're talking about the right hand, this is playing a role in holding the instrument too. Even if you are playing it in your lap, it's still reaching around like this. I would say I can't do it with a soprano uke because I'd look silly trying to play it in my lap and it would put me in a terrible position. But you may be coming from over top like this if you're in your lap. And that's good too, because the thing is your forearm is hitting somewhere on the instrument. For me, it's down here. I'm coming from here because I handhold the instrument. So we want to get this, whatever this is, we're pulling this into the body a little bit too. Even if you're playing with a strap, even if you're playing with it seated here and you're reaching over, you're still going to pull it on because this helps. Back to just talking about bar chords, that leverage of pulling back here with this one's pulling this way, pushing the ukes. You have this nice little dance in the balance here. So if I pull back here, there's my bar chord. There's any chord that I want. And I feel like my fingers are just pressing down the strings. I can always adjust that pressure, but you want to find a little position here where your forearm rests somewhere on the instrument. If you're playing, again, down here, it might be here. If you're playing finger style like this, it might be around more the bottom of it. If you're playing with a strap, a lot of folks, you get it like this. I play more under here because I handhold my soprano. Again, different for everyone. So what are we looking for with that right arm? The main thing that we're looking for is the same exact thing. Is your wrist loose, mobile, and accessible to strum. Because when we're playing uke, we're not doing these big motions with our whole arm. We have this tiny little plane of motion right here. This is all you need. So we think about this strumming motion here, which we're going to get more into strumming in a moment. The key to this is how do we stay relaxed and how do we keep our wrist mobile? And it's by having this contact point on the instrument. These constant contact points are so important to feeling at home with your instrument. You want to feel like your instrument's an extension of you, not something that you're fighting to play. So what you can do is that you can take this and you can just walk around your house like this. Don't play, just hold the instrument. Get used to what it feels like to hold the instrument. There's a question in the chat about whether I'm holding up with just my right hand or also my left, mostly my right. And we should talk about this since we're talking about all instruments and bodies are different. There are some issues with some instruments that make it harder to handhold. And if I'm holding it mostly with my right, I'm just balancing a little bit right here on the side if I'm not playing anything. If I'm playing, then no, I'm not holding it up at all with my left. It's just a matter of stopping it from squiggling around. But it's mostly right here. I'm holding it like a baby. It's here for me. And you want to find the place that your uke is comfortable to do that you need minimal involvement over here. You never want to feel like you're pushing this up. If you have guitar style tuners, the ones that stick out this side, they're a lot heavier than friction pegs. And they're what's put on a lot of more inexpensive ukes. But with that extra weight comes fighting neck dive all the time. If you feel like you're fighting your instrument like this to stay up, go buy a strap. Or change the tuning pegs if you want. If you really want to go that route, you can do that. But my recommendation, go buy a strap. It's going to make your life easier. This is a really well-balanced light instrument. It's why I can handhold it like this without any problem. My other uke that's sitting back here is the same way. It's a really well-balanced instrument. And that's something for me when I look at instruments is really important because I need to hold my instrument. It's like being a part of me. And if I had to have a strap, it just wouldn't feel right. But I think most people benefit, especially if you're playing a lower priced instrument that's not well balanced, to play with a strap. It's just going to make your life easier. So if you feel like you're fighting neck dive and you just can't find a way, because if you're fighting this, you're loose, your wrist is not going to be loose and relaxed, is it? You're going to be pushing up like this. We're pushing from here. We're going to be tensing up everything to do that. Go buy a strap. Life doesn't have to be hard. All right. So big things, both wrists, loose and relaxed, shoulders, relaxed. And I keep saying that because that's a problem that I have always fought my entire life on every instrument that I play is that I'll be playing a tune and I'll forget that I'm tensing my shoulders and I'm tensing my back. But any of that tension goes right out to your fingertips. Everything's interconnected. So take a little bit of time and just walk around your house with your uke, like 5 minutes a day, holding it like this. Go make a cup of coffee. See if you can hold it with one hand and just get used to it. If you sit down and play, same exact thing. Spend a little bit of time sitting down with your uke in your lap and always don't have it flat so you're bent over it. Still need the neck up so we can get the wrist in a good position. Sit there and actually just sit with your uke. Watch a YouTube video, not playing. I mean, just any old YouTube video. Watch Netflix and just sit there with your uke in a nice proper position and learn to just be comfortable with it. Being comfortable with an instrument is hard and takes time. This isn't our natural position. As I said earlier, I feel like I'm a T-Rex half the time. I don't want to feel like that. I want to feel like me. So spend a little bit of your practice time every day, checking in with your body and asking yourself, are things aligned right? Do I feel natural? Am I comfortable on the instrument? And if you're not comfortable on the instrument, sit there in the mirror, sit there in the camera, figure out why. Because it's not just going to magically solve itself. It's going to compound all of these issues and it's just going to get worse over the years. And it's not going to make playing the instrument fun. And that's really the end of it, is that good technique makes playing the instrument more fun. It sucks at first that we have to deal with these things. But once we have it, you get to spend more time playing music. And it's something you only have to do once, because once you figure it out, it's like riding a bicycle. Riding a bicycle was not super simple the first time you hopped on as a child, at least not for me. Luckily, I had training wheels, or I might have gotten injured. You need to just take all of these things and learn it like you're a child. And that's hard for us to do as an adult learner, is remembering what it's like to do unfamiliar things and navigate those obstacles. Take a step back. And I'm not saying don't play music because you feel like you're carrying tension, but spend a little bit of your practice every single day focusing on relaxing and just holding your instrument in a nice position that feels good for you. And it will become second nature soon. It's just time and actually being actively involved in thinking about that process. All right. So now we got to talk about strumming. So if we have our nice relaxed position, we're going to put down one chord today. We're going to use pretty much 1.5 chord shapes for the entire lesson today. And that's our G6 chord, because I hate G major chords. I don't like them. So we're going to play G6, which is open, 2, open, 2. And I want you to play this specifically with your middle finger and your ring finger. We'll see why in a little bit we want to use these specific fingers to do it. So we're going to press that down. And again, what's pressing it down? Not this, just ever so slightly bringing the pressure down, right? So as we're pressing down this first chord, we need to face a truth that hurts. We all press down too hard, myself included. I catch myself doing this all the time. And with beginners, it's natural. We're pressing something down. But again, we don't need much pressure to bring these strings into the fingerboard. So how do we find that minimum amount of pressure that we need? So first things first is finger placement is important. So if I get up on the camera, although we say, if we see a chord diagram, it might look like this, like our dots are in the middle of the fret, but no, our goal is to be as close to the fret as possible. This is the break point. So when we get here, it's as easy to press down as possible. The closer we are to the fret, that's the nice break point where we have to press down the least hard. And don't you want to work less hard? Because I want to work less hard. I don't like working. So we want to be close to the fret. And then as we press down, what I want you to do, we're going to strum like this. Just strum it along with me. And what we're going to do is we're going to start gently releasing the pressure. I'm just releasing the pressure on my fingers until, fret buzz. That's exactly what I want to hear, is fret buzz. And from there, I'm going to start pressing down ever so slightly. And as soon as it starts making noise, that's as hard as I need to press. There's no reason to press any harder, and you're going to throw the strings out of tune if you press too hard. If I press down really hard, you're going to start pulling the strings, pull the chord out of tune. But really light. So again, let's take our hand off, shake it out, relax. Put down our G6th chord as close to the fret as possible. Strum with me. Now start releasing the pressure until we find fret buzz. We want it to sound bad. That's our goal. There's my fret buzz. So I'm going to press down just a hair more than that. I'm going to sit there and think about that's it. That's as hard as I need to press. Uke's really, really easy to play physically if you allow it to be. Because our brain goes, hey, I need to press down the strings. I better press really hard. You don't need to press hard. In fact, you want to press as light as possible. Be lazy as a musician. That should be our entire goal. What I mean by that really is use your body efficiently. But I prefer just call it being lazy as a musician. Take your hand off again. Let's shake it out. Relax. Put that G6th chord back down. And we're strumming. Now, as you release that pressure, I want you to do something. I want you to take your thumb, just release the pressure from the thumb. Don't worry about the first fingers. Just release it. See if you can get it to come off the back of the neck. Just a little bit. Wave at me with your thumb like this. Can you do that? Because if we can hold the chord down, we can do it. That means we're properly using our arm weight here. Yeah, the thumb does need to be on the back of the neck. But we want that feeling of weightlessness as we're doing it. That's the goal. Now start releasing the pressure on that G6 chord. Let's find that fret buzz again. There's my fret buzz. Love that sound. And there was press down a little bit more. And there we are. Doing exercises like this every day for a month You'll never worry about how hard you press down again because your body will go, oh, this is how hard I need to press down. And obviously, all chords are different. We may find if I want to play a big voicing like this G13 up here, the double bar, well, yeah, I might actually have to press down a little bit harder. I might need to adjust a few things in my technique. I might need to adjust my wrist angle to get there. But if we don't have the foundation of this is what it should feel like when I play an instrument, all of this is going to be 10 times harder. See how I can move on the fingerboard like this? It's because I'm not creating friction. I'm not going too hard down. That's the problem. We all press too hard. We all try to manhandle this poor little instrument. Be gentle with it. You're not going to break it, but you're just making playing music harder for you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take these principles and we're going to start learning a song using pretty much just this one chord shape to get around the majority of the song. What we're going to talk about is when we're learning a tune, how to think about fingering things efficiently. Again, less work is better. That's what we want, is the least amount of work. So if we put down this G6 chord, first thing we're going to do is just find a groove on this. You can strum with your index finger. I'm going to strum with my thumb just because it's softer and I want you to hear me talk while I'm doing this. This is a song I would actually usually strum with my index fingernail. But the principle of strumming is the same no matter how we're doing it. Remember that our forearm is contacting somewhere on the instrument, right? Yours might be down here a little bit. Yours might be up here. Depending on how you're holding your instrument, doesn't matter. The principles are the same, which is that what's doing the strumming? Not my arm, my wrist, right? And we call this down and up strums, right? Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, or with my index, doesn't matter. Use whatever finger you want for now. But does my wrist motion change no matter what finger I'm using? No. But here's the thing you want to think about, is that our wrist is not just a down and up joint. It's a rotational joint. So if we watch from the side, if you can see my hand here, am I going down, down? No. I'm actually turning. It's like twisting a doorknob. That's the motion that we're actually making. We're making a rotational movement. And I think just because we get told so many times, down strum, up strum, we start doing that. When really, why not go with the natural rotation of your wrist? Do what your body already does instead of forcing it to do something that's completely unnatural. Strumming is a rotational motion. If I do my index finger here, my up strum, every time I do a down strum, my up strum's there. It's just whether I allow myself to hit the string. And the up strum is just reversing the down strum. It creates this nice little elliptical motion. Again, finding what's the natural movement of your wrist. Let's speed up this strum a little bit. Yeah, here we are. As we're strumming on this is the time before we throw a million chords in here and move things around that we can check in with ourselves and think about, am I relaxed? Did I remember to breathe today? Am I strumming from the wrist in a rotational way, not just down and up? Do I feel like I'm clamping down my thumb and my fingers together to get these out? Am I using my arm to do it? Am I relaxed? That's the question that we always need to answer. And then we can worry about it. So let's learn our second chord that we're going to need for today. We're going to take this same exact shape, slide it to your first fret. Same fingers. Slide it back. So this is a G6th chord. The second chord that we're playing is a G diminished 7th chord. Slide it back. Isn't that nice? Back to G6th. Now, if you're not pressing down too hard, you should be able to hold down the same amount of pressure and just slide that chord down. If you're pressing down too hard, you're going to get stuck on the fret. Going back and forth between these two chords, G6th G diminished 7th. Back to G6th. G diminished 7th. G6th. And stop there. Take your hands off. Relax for a second. We've got 2 of the chords that we need for our song. So our next chord, my personal favorite ukulele chord, A minor 7th. I'm going to play A minor 7th just like this. And this is really going to test you as to whether you're actually holding the instrument comfortably, because as soon as we're not holding down the strings, does our uke do this? Does it falter on us, or are we lost? One of the ways that I do this is you can see that my uke on open chords contacts right here, just ever so slightly, right? When I'm playing open, ever so slightly right here. Again, if I take it off, I'm going to have a little bit of neck dive. You want to keep some connection to the instrument at all times. It can be up here. If you see from the front, I'm beyond the nut. I'm not touching those strings. And that enables me to get back to. So what I want to do is we're going to do 4 strums on each of these chords. So we're going to go G6th, G diminished 7th, A minor 7th, walk it back up. It's kind of the turnaround for Moonglow too, but we're not doing Moonglow today. So 4 strums on each, starting on G6. 1, 2, 3, 4. G6th. Slide it down to G diminished 7th. All open, A minor 7th. Back to the diminished chord. G6th. Diminished 7. Open. Diminished 7. One last time of this little cycle. We need one last chord to figure out most of this too. We have a couple more. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this G6 shape. We're going to hop it down 2 strings. You've probably played this before. Same exact shape. And it's going to be 2 open, 2 open. What's this? This is a D7th chord. What some folks call the Hawaiian D7th. I don't know why they call it the Hawaiian D7th. I don't know many Hawaiian players that play this voicing regularly. This is a D7th chord. We're really playing an F sharp diminished chord to insinuate the sound of a D7th. It's the beauty of music. We can play the wrong thing and create the right sound. But what are we doing? We're using this same shape. So now our progression is going to be G6, G diminished 7th, all open, D7. All right. So we need to put some time on this. So it's going to be 6 strums on here. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Slide it down. A minor 7th, 3, 4, D7th. Back to G6. Join in with me. G6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Slide it down. All open. Over to D7th. Again, G6. Hopping it over. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Slide it back. All open. D7th. Again, G6. Slide it down, all open, D7th. The tune is, I can't give you anything but love, baby. That's the only thing I've plenty of, baby, dream. And then we're on to something different. So let's look at that next chord. So as we go back to it, come back to your G6th for me. Same exact voicing we're using, middle finger and ring finger. We're going to create a G7th chord here. You've probably played this before. Just bring the first finger onto the first fret of the E string. So we've opened 2, 1, 2. What I want you to think about while you're playing this is we've been playing this G6 the whole time. We're not playing a new chord. We're simply adding one note to a chord that we already know. It's still the same shape. We're just adding something new to it. So we play G7th, and then we're going to go up to C. But the way that we're going to go to C is from our G7th, we're going to slide up our ring finger. Now, why am I doing that instead of bringing the pinky in and playing it like this? Many of you have done lessons with me before, know that I love playing a C major chord with my pinky. Well, why here am I using my ring finger? Because in that way, I'm keeping a connection to the instrument. I'm keeping this ring finger as much as possible connected. So as we go to C, we're going to have that. So we have G7, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Slide up to C. Let's try just that progression. So from our G7th chord, which we're thinking of just in addition to our G6, just one little note difference. We're going to go G7 to C with the ring finger. Make sure we're using these fingerings here. 1, 2, 3, 4. G7. Slide up to C. Nice. One more chord and we have the entire A section of the tune. What we're going to do, slide your ring finger back where it was to the 2nd fret of our A string. Play the middle finger on the 1st fret of the C string. Again, Chris, why am I playing it like this? I can play an A9 like this. Of course you can. And by doing that, you lose that contact point on the instrument. By doing this, we get fluid motion between the two chords. And that's what we're always looking for. How can we do this with the least amount of movements possible? Yes, you could play your 1st finger here too. That would be absolutely fine, as long as this ring finger is anchored. But I find that terribly uncomfortable and I don't want to flip you off. So I'm going to play my A9 like this. And then it's going to go A minor 7th, D7th. Hey, haven't we played those same two chords back to back before? That sounds like a chord progression. That's our 2-5-1 progression in the key of G. So starting back on our G7th, it's going to sound like this. So we get G7th. Where's G7th want to go? Up to C. 2, 3, 4. A9. Slide the ring finger back. D7th. Let's try that again from the G7. I think I said there was an A minor 7th in there. It can be. We're not playing it though. I lied to all of you and I'm terribly sorry. From the G7th with me playing everything correctly. 2, 3, 4. G7. Up to C. Down to A9. Bring that ring finger down and play an A7th chord pretty much. And then D7th. Now we have the entire A section song. We're halfway through the song in about 5 minutes using essentially one chord shape that we're just adding a couple of things to. Because really, when we play this A9, what are we doing? We're just stretching out that same chord shape, right? Here's our G6. Here's our A9. Same chord shape. The C is really the only different thing that's in here. So from the beginning, we can do this. And we're going to start out on a little vamp. We're going to play our first 4 measures. So we're going to do the G6 with the walk down to the diminished, A minor 7, D7. We're going to hang out on that for a minute, make that feel good, and then I'm going to walk you through the changes to the A section. So here we go. Starting on G6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Slide down to diminished, all open, D7. Hop that on over. Slide it down, all open. Here's the beginning of the tune now. All right, so we get G6. Ba da do da da do da do day. D7. Do da. Repeat it. Ba ba do da da do da do day. D7. Da da. Now G7th, but it's just our G6 with an extra finger. Da da da. Slide up to C. Ba da da D. Down to A9. Da da da. Da da D. D7. Da da dee do da da do da 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 do da 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 dee da da. G7. Da 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 do da da C da dee da. Hang out there for 1 second. So that's the second half of the song. We already know half of it. There's nothing new in the second half. That's the beauty of music. So when we're learning a tune, it's not a bunch of chords. If we're reading off of a page, a lot of times it becomes chord, 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 chord. But if we learn it like this, we learn the song. We learn how those chords relate to the melody. And we see that when we get to that second half, we start off with the same lick, right? G6. Slide slide it down, A minor 7, D7. And then instead of repeating that the second time, we're going right to the G7th to C. Same exact thing. We already practiced this chord progression, this G7 to C. So here's the last half of the song. We're going to stay on that C chord. Go to our diminished chord, same exact diminished chord. We're just getting back to our shape. And then we come around the horn and it sounds like this. We're going to slide it back up. Then we have a new chord. Here's our G6th. Take your first finger, put it on the first fret of the G string. I saw Franz says most bands in F, and I absolutely agree with you. But actually, this month we're working on this tune on the Magic Ukulele Club, and Django plays it in G, and a lot of the gypsy jazz bands play it in G. So there's a lot of G out there, but most of the trad jazz bands I know play it in F. So I started playing along with Django. Doing it in G made more sense. That's actually why I'm doing it here. Fits nicely in F as well. But back to this part, last couple bars of the tune. G6, we're adding this first finger. This is an E7th chord. But is it something new? Is this a brand new shape? Well, no, it's our G6th chord, adding one note. Right? And then 2, 5, 1, A minor 7, D7th to G6. So let's look at that second half. I'm going to play the whole thing so you can hear all of it. I'll call out the chords. Try to keep up. So we're starting on G6. Da da do da da da. Slide it back. Da da D. D7. Da D. G7. Da 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 C. Da da do. And we stay here. Do do do. Diminish. D va do do to G. Add the first finger. D da. A minor 7. Da da da. Da 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 do D G6. Actually, Kathy noted in the comments that women like to sing it in C. They absolutely do. We're also doing it in C over in the Magic Ukulele Club this month. We're doing both G and C because it's such a beautiful little form, and I figured that would give people more options as well as giving baritone voicings for G. It's a win-win-win situation. Let's walk through the entire form of this song and what we're thinking about. How's everything have to do with this? Every chord that we play, our D7th is just that shape. Our diminished chord, just that shape. Our G7th is adding one note to this, right? See something different? A9 is just this shape spread out, right? When we finally have that E7th, it's just adding one note to it. I'm going to walk you through the chord changes as we go. Try my best to call out functionally what we're actually doing, because that's what matters. I don't care what chords I'm playing. I matter what it sounds like. Here we go. G6, 2, 3, 4. Da da do da da da. Slide it back. Da do da. All open to D7th. Do da. Repeat that. Da da do da da da. Slide it back. All open. Da. D7th. Now to G7th. We're just taking it. Add the first finger. Da 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 to C. Slide up the ring finger. Da 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 D. A9, just our shape spread out. Da 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 da. D7. Da 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 da. Repeat. Ba ba do da da da. Slide it back. Da 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 da. Where we're going? G7th with the first finger. Da 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 da. C. Da da da. Stay here. Ba da da da. Diminished. Da da da. Slide it up. Da. First finger. D da. All open. Da 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 dee do dee. Let's do it again. G6. Da da do da da do. Slide it back. Da do day. D7. Da da. Back to G6. Da da do da da do. Da da da. Da da. G7 with the first finger. Bo da 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 da. Slide that ring finger up. Ba da da da. A9. Da 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 da, D7, da da dee do da da do to G6, da do da do, slide it back down, da D7, da da, right to G7 this time, da da do da da C. D da do diminished da da, slide it up, put the first finger down, D da, A minor 7 da da D7, anything but love. So we can play a tune like this, very, very basic shapes, leaving us aware of the movement on the instrument as opposed to thinking about just the chords. So I know in the comments, I see a lot of Magic Ukulele Club members here. This series will be coming out this month. We're starting on Wednesday with I Can't Give You Anything But Love. We got 5 lessons coming out. We're going over Django's version of the tune. We're going to be talking about La Pompe strumming, Django's chord melody, soloing, and playing the melody itself, going through it in G and C. The backing tracks will be up, so you have lots of practice time along with this. But Magic Uke Club's members, if you haven't noticed, there's also a new course that's up there for you called Fundamentals of Swing. And for everyone else watching, if you ever wanted to get into this sort of music but didn't know where to start, I've just released the Fundamentals of Swing Ukulele, which takes it even easier than we did today, from holding and tuning the uke to playing your first 5 songs, just like we did today. You can learn them in an hour, 2 hours, practice along with backing tracks, and start improvising with the very first tune, which I think is the most important thing. If you want to play swing and jazz, you got to learn how to improvise, and it doesn't have to be scary at all. So if you've ever been thinking about coming to the Magic Ukulele Club, the Fundamentals of Swing course is there now to start you off in how we talk about music and how we make everything just work on this instrument. Also why uke is kind of the perfect instrument to be playing all of this music on. So everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really, really appreciate it. It's great to see so many folks in the new year with their ukes starting to strum, whether it's your first lesson or your 100th lesson with me. It's always wonderful. Until next time, I'll see you all soon.